right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Habakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostle of Great Millstone, who we want to teach well. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, your brother Karatazar, and I'm going in on the judgment and what the outcome is going to be for Esau Edom because of his crimes against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So I'm going to start off with Ezekiel, then I'm going to Obadiah, then I'm going to touch a tad bit on some history, just very briefly. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh Shai came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And that's what it is that we are doing through the Spirit by Yahweh Shai, prophesying against Mount Seir, all right? Prophesying against America, prophesying against the modern day Babylonians, the modern day Pharaoh, the so-called white people, all right? The Edomites. All right, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. So the Lord is against you, all right? And I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. All right, the Lord is going to make this place, America, desolate, all right? Starting off with us bringing out his word, starting off with us bringing out the atrocities that the so-called white people have done to the Lord's people, all right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So I'm going to start off by reading Obadiah chapter 10, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right. So with the violence that you did against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians during the siege of Jerusalem, during the time of Nebuchadnezzar II, all right, you're going to pay for that. And you're going to pay for the atrocities that you have done from that point on up until now. Okay? All right. Look at what you have the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians doing now. You have working. First one fire, last one higher. Was down there in Texas, and there was a show that I was on. And in regards to that show, there was Issacharites, okay? All right. Individuals from the Northern Kingdom. All right. They're construction workers down there. All right. And they were people dying of heat collapse and heat exhaustion, and they were trying to get a bill passed for a 10-minute break for within 4 hours of work because it's so hot down there in Texas. And the Edomites got on TV. The politicians that were set up to pass the bill or pass the law, they all said no. Okay, all right. So you're gonna pay for that, Esau. All right. That's a portion of some of the violence that you did against the Lord's people, man. All right, you want to pay for that. You even are hypocritical and violent towards your own people. But at this point, we don't care about the Edomites, man. We only doing this for the elect of the nation of Israel and for our people to help them realize that who their enemy is. Okay, all right. So let me read this. I did some Googling on what the atrocities of Edom, okay, against the Israelites, all right? And it first starts off with Jacob and Esau, and Esau's perpetual hatred for Jacob, all right? Because basically, all right, well, what was set up through the Spirit, all right? If you read Romans the 9th chapter, all right, you know what, I'm gonna get it. What was set up through the Spirit, the Lord chose Jacob, all right, and how the Lord chose Jacob is was the setup basically on Jacob giving Esau some meat and selling him his birthright, and then Jacob and Rebekah supplanting Isaac to seal the deal with Jacob receiving the blessings of the firstborn son. All right. All right. So this is Romans 9:4. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, the purpose of Yahweh according to election might stand not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her that the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we then say? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? Yahweh forbid. Okay. All right, there. It was said, going back to verse 12. All right, going even to verse 11. It was already predestined that the blessing was going to go to Jacob. All right. But the in the manner in which the blessing was going to go to Jacob had to be played out. All right. And it was played out through Jacob and Rebecca supplanting Isaac. All right. All right, that's my point on that, right? So that's where the perpetual hatred started. Okay. All right. And you can go read that in Genesis 20, I believe it was the 27th chapter where Esau said, "I'm gonna hate my brother forever," basically. All right. All right. This is in regards to Obadiah. All right. Uh, it says the Edomites' record of brutality and aggression against Israel is found throughout the scriptures. Earlier we saw Esau's personal hatred and murderous vow towards Jacob, Genesis 27 and 41. All right. It says, Genesis 27 and 41. This is a commentary. All right. This is a commentary from Bible Tools. And it says, from Forerunner, Fore, runner commentary. Okay. All right. Going back into it, Genesis 27 and 41. Let me get it. And Esau, it's like it. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. I remember it was predestined for Jacob to receive the blessing of the firstborn son. All right. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right. All right. And then in my Bible has a precept going straight into Obadiah 1 and 10. All right. Which is one of the precepts I had read earlier. Speaking on the violence against our brother Jacob, violence starts in your heart, violence starts in your mind. All right. And that's where it started off with Esau. All right. But it was all predestined. All right. Continuing on, and here it says the Amalekites' sneaky attack against the Israelites stragglers in the wilderness in Exodus and Deuteronomy, Amalekites' alliances with other nations against Israel, Judges 3 and Judges 6, even Haman's attempt to exterminate the Israelites in Persia, Esther, all right, 3, chapter 3 and chapter 8. Beyond these, the Bible provides more examples of Edom's almost insistent hostility against Israel and Judah and against the Lord's will. All right, well, Esau hating Jacob is part of the Lord's will. Okay, all right. All right, so let me see if there's anything else I want to read on here. All right, Psalms 137 is a lament describing the Jews' grief and a longing for Jerusalem while they were held captive in Babylon. They were too forlorn even to sing the Lord's song in a foreign land. The later verses tell of the Edomites' role in the sack of Jerusalem, and the psalm ends in the Jews' hope for that the Edomites will suffer as they had. Okay, so let's go get Psalms 137. So this is part of Esau Edom's 8 indictments that we're going to get in the book of Obadiah. All right, this is Psalms 137, verse 8. Remember, O Yahweh Shema Shah, the children of Edom. All right, so we understand that these are the Israelites asking, and us in this current time asking Yahweh Shema Shah to remember the children of Edom because of their atrocities that they did to the children of Israel back in the Babylonian times. All right. Even before the Babylonian times, all right, and within the time that we are living in now. In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art thou, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. So what are some of the things that Esau Edom has done unto the children of Israel during the siege of Babylon? I'm going to Google something and Lord will find out. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stone. That's one thing that the Edomites did unto the Israelites, man. All right, during that siege, man. All right. That's why we're going to receive the power to do the things that Esau Edom has done to us, but it's going to be far more worse, and it's going to be in righteousness. All right. All right. So continuing on, evidently in 586 BC, the Edomites had joined with Nebuchadnezzar's Babylonian forces against Judah and revealed in the Jews' defeat, committing atrocities against defenseless babies and youngsters. All right, so let's do some googling right quick. All right, here's an article. All right, here's Wikipedia. I'm gonna read this right quick. It says Edom. It says just like basically what we read. All right. Most recent excavations show that the the process of Edom's settlement in southern parts of the kingdom of Judea and parts of Negev down to Timnah had started already before the destruction of the kingdom by Nebuchadnezzar. What kingdom's the southern kingdom, all right, by Nebuchadnezzar the second in 587-86 BC, both by peaceful penetration. All right, we know his words are smoother than butter, right? But war was in his heart, according to the hatred that he had, that he still has for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians because of the blessing, right? Continuing on, and by military means, taking advantage of the already weakened state of Judah. All right. So there it says that uh, the Edomites took took over helped was in the process of helping Nebuchadnezzar overtake Judea, man. All right. All right, I'm gonna read this from this article. It says Edom and the fall of Jerusalem, 587 BC. Wait for it to load up. But while it's loading, all right, it is loading. It's done. All right. Oh, it's a lot in here. I'm gonna have to read this. It's 12 pages, but I'm gonna have to read it, and then we'll have to do another lesson on it. Yeah, it's a lot. But it's Edom and the Fall of Jerusalem, 580 BC by J.R. Bartlett. All right, so that's a lot of information on there. Where I can go through and read it. And now I'm going to get into the actual indictments that Esau Edom, all right, has against him. All right, and I'm going to get the definition for indictment. All right, it says indictment. It says a formal charge or accusation of a serious crime. All right, so these are the charges. All right, through the Spirit of the Lord that Esau Edom has because of his atrocities. All right. All right, so continuing on in Obadiah, this is 1 and 11. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. So when Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians sacked Jerusalem, Esau Edom was there. Esau Edom was one of those individuals of the foreign nations that sacked Jerusalem. All right. This is going into the indictments right now. This is the first one. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day he that he became a stranger. All right. And how did he become a stranger? All right. He was taken out of his land, was given over to the Babylonians, and guess what? They followed after the cousins of the Babylonians, right? Just like Jacob's doing now. All right. That's one account for Esau. This is the second one. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. That's the second one. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. That's the third account. All right, that's the third indictment. Okay, and this is the violence that Esau Edom had done it to Jake, man. All right, in the time of the Babylonian, before the around 586, 87 BC. All right. This is the fourth one. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. All right. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. All right, that's 6. Okay. All right. He took stuff. He looked upon he entered into their gates. Okay. And looked upon their affliction and came and conquered them. All right, further conquered them. Okay, all right. After the Babylonians was done doing what they did. Okay, all right. This is number 7. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those that died that did not escape. That's 7. This is 8. Salaki. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of stress. All right, so Esau Edom, you gotta pay for those 8 indictments, man. You gotta pay for those things, okay? All right, and you're gonna pay for them by the hand of the Lord's people. All right, let's get Ezekiel, the 25th chapter. This is Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 12. Thus saith Yahweh power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and had greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, I will stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know My vengeance, saith Yahweh power. All right, there you go. That's the judgment of Esau Edom. All right, you're gonna feel the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai by the hands of his people. All right, first it's gonna be by the elect of the Lord's people. All right, then when you get into the kingdom, whomever the Lord has set up to be there in rulership over the nation of over the kingdom, all right, in the sense of the Israelites, the elect, and then who are further down in rulership, they're gonna have you in hardcore, rigorous slavery, man, just like you did to the Lord's people when we done unto you. All right, this is Obadiah 15. I'm in Obadiah 1 and 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall be not and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. All right, so everything we know that the Lord says is true, and it will come to pass. Okay, it's like the prophecies that have came to pass and the ones that's coming to pass now. This Obadiah 1 and 18 is a prophecy that hasn't come to pass yet, and it's in the Old Testament, but it will come to pass. It's coming to pass sooner rather than later, man. Okay, all right. Trying to see. Let me go back into this article that I was reading. So it started off with a thing in your heart, Esau, and then you made those thoughts of hatred in your heart manifest towards your brother, and you're gonna pay for that, man. All right. The scriptures say that every man shall pay for everything that he says and every idle word. All right. That does not exclude you Edomites, man. All right. And that's in Matthew the 12th chapter. All right. So let's see. Going back into the article from the commentary from Forerunner commentary. Uh, says here. All right, yeah, I read that. Yeah, I mean, I hit the point, man. You're gonna pay for your atrocities, your indictments, Esau. We read them. All right, well, I read them through the Spirit. Okay, and the Lord's gonna bring these charges of judgment up against you, man. All right, and the charges of the judgment that the Lord's gonna bring upon you is the revenge, His vengeance upon you by the hands of His people. All right, Isaiah 34. He's gonna destroy your land. All right, He's gonna bomb this place. Okay, all right, and then you're gonna go into captivity. All right, Revelations I believe it's 13th chapter. I ain't read it in a minute. Let me go back and grab it. It's been a while since I read it. Yep, Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. You raped, robbed, and murdered, pillaged, killed, stole. Okay, these are the things that you did, Esau. So you're gonna have to pay for that. All right, you put people in captivity, more specifically the Israelites. You're gonna go into captivity. All right. Yeah, I think that was about it, man. All right, you reap what you sow, and you're gonna get your judgment, Esau. All right. Lord, will you edify? I want to give all praise and honor, glory to you. How about Shema Shai, by Shema Rakakadash? I want to give double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, who want to teach well. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Kwame Yashiralim, Wafa, Shalom.